Earlier this hour, we caught up with County Executive of Prince George's County, and now we head to Montgomery County. Welcome back right now, County Executive Mark Elrich. Great to see you. So let's start with the school system's record-setting budget proposal of nearly $4 billion. Your budget calls for a property tax rate hike to fund it. Some in the county, though, are already concerned about housing affordability. So how do you justify placing additional financial pressure on homeowners? And also, what's your message to parents and educators?
Well, I think the message is a little more complicated than that. I mean, first of all, the only thing more expensive than educating children is not educating them. And, we tend to forget that when people get caught up in the rhetoric of, what's it costing to do this. The school system needs are real. A lot of this is the compensation agreement. The state has now made salaries competitive around the state. They set a floor for salaries that all counties have to be at. And if Montgomery County is at the floor or, pretty close to what other jurisdictions are, you're going to find teachers going to other places where it is easier to find a place to live than it is in Montgomery County. So if we're going to be competitive and attract the teachers we need, we've got to be able to have competitive salaries. But the schools also had serious needs in their special education programs. We addressed the staffing issue largely last year, but they still need people who are able to write the reports. If the superintendent here were here, he would tell you that they're unable to do the reports in a timely manner, and the cost to the county of not getting reports in a timely manner is that people automatically get private school placements, which are incredibly expensive. So there's a reason why they're trying to get the house right over there. The system has been a long time not doing the things they needed to do, but frankly, the county council historically wouldn't have funded the kind of things that the schools needed to the extent they needed them. So it's kind of like a mutual responsibility. I feel like the schools never leveled with us about how far behind they were, and our structure of what we were willing to tax for or fund for just wasn't adequate. So we've got a problem on our hands we have to deal with. And the school construction budget is another part of this. That's in the capital budget, but it's another huge increase for things that weren't built over the last 15 years.
Okay, and the housing arm of that question, I mean, a lot of people find affordability just really hard at this time. And if there is a property tax hike, I know you've said it's very small, but every little adds up.
Well, I'll put it in perspective, because part of the problem the county has, our revenue projections were cut. We've exceeded, and we're going to still have more revenue than we had last year, but there's not as much of an increase. And a lot of this has to do with a certain president, Donald Trump. And this really wrecked the DC market. And you can look at everybody who's talking about the slowdown in commercial development. That has had a serious impact on our tax revenues as well. We're not immune to that. The president said very clearly that he was going to stop doing things at the federal level and shift the responsibility to local government. Well, here it is. More responsibilities are being dumped on the state and on the county in order to pay for his tax cuts. So it's not like we asked for this problem to be magnified by the president. This is a result of federal policy. So part of the increases here go to pay for things that are being affected by federal policy. We didn't make this, he did. And he's told people what he was going to do. He said he was going to shift this to local residents. So I don't know how people who voted for him somehow think they were going to shift it to local government, and without sending over the money to, how local government was going to pay for it without raising taxes. This is Donald Trump's dream scenario. The jurisdictions back away from paying taxes for services they need, and you wind up shrinking the role of government, which is what they wanted all along. Only in this case, they're doing it through a back door. We looked at the tax benefits to most taxpayers in Montgomery County of the federal government tax cuts. And the truth is, most people will be getting tax cuts that are greater than this tax increase. So for most people in this county, the net is going to be actually positive. They will get more money back from the federal government. There is a smaller increase in taxes from the local government, but that allows us to continue to fund the schools. It allows us, here's another problem we're paying for. Healthcare. They're expecting 3,000 to 6,000 more people kicked off of insurance. Those folks will probably be coming to our clinics because we provide clinics. That's going to increase the cost of our clinics. So we're paying for consequences of other policies, but the net for people is actually not going to be a greater tax burden. It's still going to be a lesser tax burden.
Okay, Executive, I want to squeeze in two more questions here if we can. There's been a lot of debate. You brought up the president in this area about the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. County Council passed the Trust Act to restrict law enforcement from working with ICE. What are you hearing in the community about ICE activity, and what's your position on that?
Well, what I'm hearing is there's an uptick in ICE activity, but obviously we're not seeing the kind of things that you saw in Minneapolis yet. We know that ICE is upstaffing and they're bringing more people into Maryland. We know they haven't retreated from the idea of deporting people. I'm a little interested in what the new person in charge of this is saying in terms of what they're going to do and how aggressively they're going to push some of the things that they did in Minneapolis. But we're certainly expected more enforcement. Then I'll say most residents in this county continue to feel that people who've built their lives here and are paying taxes and working in our community and filling jobs ought to be able to stay here. I get very little pressure from anybody just saying immigrants need to go. That is not our policy, and it's not how most people in this county feel.
All right.
And all our immigrant grandchildren.
And finally, I just want to end on a environmental note here. I know it's Earth Month, and there's a lot of activities. Where can people go to learn more?
They can go to our webpage, the county webpage, and we've got things featured on there. There's an event, and I gotta forget the day, up in Black Rock on Earth Day. Actually, it's on Earth Day. So you can go up to Black Rock. There's going to be a lot of things to see at Black Rock, educate people about what's available and what the county's doing. And then there are other things scattered around the county. So if you go to the webpage, you'll get an idea, and you'll have multiple choices of places to land.
All right, sounds good. Montgomery County Executive Mark Elridge, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, as always.
We want to get to some